You're shining a light at me.
Oh, no, I'm playing with a flashlight.
Oh, you're tempting me to run around with my tail.
I know. It's you jumped at the screen when I did that. So
I did. There it is again. I can't do it. Okay. No,
Sorry.
wow, that's exciting. It got exciting for me for a second because I'm just a pup.
This is Bearly Furcasting, featuring Taebyn, an Injured Nerves audio production. Actually, I was checking the stats before we started, and we're up to 50 listeners, or 51 actually.
51 downloads.
Yeah. So I also wanted to shout out right now that we're already listed on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podcast, Podchaser, Deezer, Listen Notes, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Castro, and Castbox.
Wow. That's craziness.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
It's amazing how technology just did that for us.
So let's just jump right in, and we want to know, of course, how the tail chasing saga is going. Did you catch it this week?
No, I have not caught it quite yet. I got pretty close, but the fluff just keeps eluding me. I'm going to keep working on it. Definitely a project for this week coming up. Maybe, I'm usually counterclockwise chasing it, but maybe I need to revert to just clockwise. It seems counterintuitive to me to have to do that. Maybe I'm just going to have to mix up my strategy that way.
That sounds like a plan, and we'll have to check to see how that worked. Next week.
I have to see. But I would like to say I am making progress. I'm getting closer. I think that there's a good hope on the horizon for this endeavor for this pup.
Where is your tail right now? Is it just sitting there behaving itself? It's not teasing you?
It's just sitting there behaving itself. It's not myself.
It's not teasing you at all or taunting you to chase it?
He's totally taunting me. He's a he. It's not an it. It's a he. He's taunting me, and the fluff is right there, and I'm just going to try and ignore it while we do our thing. You behave yourself now, Fluff.
We've had a few people respond to our pod on Telegram, because you sent me different things about how about talking about this, how about talking about that. One of the things that they wanted to talk about was potatoes.
Yes.
What about potatoes?
Potatoes are important because you must potate. It's really a verb. That's where this all came from. To potate.
It's a verb.
Yeah.
Oh.
To potate. It means to become one with or act like a potato. So it's important to potate. The history goes that a long time ago, it was realized by ancient fluffs that it's important to potate. And so now we still potate to this day. Potating needs to always exist in the future. So I think we're safe that we don't have to worry about the loss of potating.
All right. Well, we need to potate, not rotate.
You can rotate while you potate, but then you have to make sure you flotate while you
potate.
Yes.
We need to back up a minute. You know why?
I'm backing up.
You know why?
Why?
Because we forgot to introduce ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Hi. I'm Bearly Normal, and you are?
My name is Taebyn. I'm a pup. Bark, bark.
And this is our podcast. Sorry that you waited that long to hear about our podcast and who we are.
Who are we? Where are these people talking to me?
Why? Why are they talking to me in my head? That brings us into what are we watching this week? What did you watch this week?
This week, I started watching actually this. It's a Netflix original. It's called I'm Not Okay With This. I think there's only one season. There might be a few seasons, but it's pretty good. Have you heard of this show?
I'm Not Okay With This. I think I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it. What's it about?
So it was just something that was in my Netflix queue, and I thought, well, I'll try this. So it's about a young high school girl, I think it's high school, 16 or 17 or something, typical teen life and everything, doesn't get along with her mom and gets along really well with her brother. But so she does the normal teenage things. And she's having to deal with her budding supernatural powers that she hasn't figured out yet. So that's pretty exciting.
Oh. All right. Well, that's cool. We started watching old shows this week. We started watching Dharma and Greg.
I've heard of that. I don't know anything about it.
And we also started watching Community with Chevy Chase.
That's a good one. I think I'm done with that one. I think I've finished that whole series off, at least I think there's more coming out. But yeah, that's a really good one. I liked it.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. But that's what we've been watching, and I've been working with the COVID because we're still COVID-ated. COVID-ated?
COVID-dated.
I've made a new word.
COVID-dated.
COVID-dated.
And it's not like you're going out to a fancy dinner with COVID to be COVID-dated, because that would be the antithesis of what we're supposed to be doing, going out to dinner. So you can't go on a date with, okay.
Antithesis. Wow,
Antithesis.
that's a big
This is a
word.
big word for a pup.
You must have learned that or read that this week.
That was something I read just yesterday, and I thought I'm not sure what it means because, well, I'm a pup and I don't know things, but I thought I might try and wiggle it into a phrase.
When I was a young bear, a cub, so to speak, I always pronounced it antithesis. I always like to make up definitions for words I didn't know, and I said it was the opposite of somebody's thesis.
So it's like their third grade book report, I guess.
I know, yeah. It's the antithesis.
Oh, another show I rewatched. I'd seen 100 Games a long time ago, but a little bit ago, I got the urge to watch it again, and I happen to have all three on. Well, there's 4 of them, and I had 3 on DVD. So I watched those and realized, there's a 4th one. Have I even seen it? I don't even have it. So that actually came in the mail just the other day. So I'll be watching that in the near future.
I understand there's a new book in that series that just was released, actually.
Oh yeah, I thought I heard that too. That's kind of exciting. That's right, there is. It's like a prequel or something. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I watched the first one and somebody volunteered as tribute, and I thought, okay, well, that's okay. I don't know what that is, but that's a meme on a lot of things. I volunteer as tribute. It's like, okay,
is. Yeah. In fact, I used that just the other day.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes me proud of myself, but there it is.
The weather got nice finally.
It did. I went on a little run outside without my leash again.
Again without the leash. I know.
Again without the leash. What am I doing? I'm such a naughty pup. But I did it, and I made it back okay. And the weather was really great out. And I hope our one listener got out to do the same.
Yes.
Can't hear if you say yes or no because you're listening and not. But I hope you get out to get some exercise.
Get some exercise out there. I was out working in my garden, getting my fruits and berries together so that we have food for the winter, the long winter that's coming up,
Winter is coming. Yeah.
Yes. And in fact, I had some salmon for dinner last night.
You're such a bear.
I'm such a bear. Caught me a salmon, cooked it up. I didn't catch it. I bought it in the store.
Kind of caught. Did you catch a good deal on it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you did catch a good.
I caught a good deal. We use Butcher Box. If you'd like to sponsor us, get a hold of me.
I have no idea what's going on right now, actually.
It's
a thing?
It's a thing. It's called Butcher Box, and you get fresh, organic, grass-fed beef and fish. Well, not the fish isn't grass-fed, but it's organic. It's wild and stuff, and you get really good stuff. So again, Butcher Box, butcherbox.com. If you'd like to sponsor, come on and give me a call.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
So shameless asking for sponsorship, but I like it. It's a good product. So we get lots of. It comes like every 6 weeks. Let's jump into our math section. What do you have for us about math this week? Anything fun and exciting?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think there was this mathematician. Well, there was lots of mathematicians.
There's lots of mathematicians out
there. There's been a few. It turns out one of the most famous that everyone's pretty much heard of is Gauss, Johann Carl Friedrich Gauss. He's very, very well known. Our one listener might have heard of him. Sometimes he's known as the quote-unquote prince of mathematicians. He's come up with a lot of great theories. He was a child mathematics prodigy from a very early age.
Is he royalty?
You would think so. He should be.
Well,
He's
said
not.
The prince, or does he sing and play guitar?
He's more of a jester. Yeah. So he came up with a lot of really great stuff. And he did this pretty much his entire life. For example, when he was 3 years old, he found an error, not water, but air, in his dad's payroll calculations.
Oh, an error.
Error, yes.
Yes, not an heir like in the princely heir.
No.
Again, with the prince thing or water. Okay, sorry. Moving along. Found an error.
So found an error in his dad's payroll calculations. And he was 3 years old. And so by the time he was 5 years old, he was doing his dad's accounting on a regular basis. And then at the age of 7, the story goes he was in his classroom, and he's a little bit of a hyper little guy, I guess. In order to, calm him down or keep him occupied or whatever, his teacher said, add up the numbers from 1 to 100, because that's sure to keep him busy he's only 7. That's going to keep him busy for a long time. Well, almost instantly, he realized that the numbers 1 to 100, if you're adding them, that's adding 50 pairs of numbers that all add up to 101. And so he deduced straight from that, oh, it adds up to 5,050. And that's pretty smart for anyone, not just a 7-year-old.
Yeah, as soon as you said 50 pairs of numbers that add up to 101, my brain was turning into goo.
It's right. It's like 1 plus 100 is 101. 2 plus 99 is 101, and so on and so forth. And it's like, wow, like even that takes some thinking about, like, yeah, that's true. And then at the age of 15, so there's these things that our one listener might have heard of called the prime numbers. Have you heard of the prime numbers, Bearly?
I have. I think they're on Amazon Prime numbers.
They are. They're totally. And you only have to wait like a day these days to get it.
I know, right? To get your numbers.
To get my numbers. But there's these things called there's these integers called the prime numbers, and don't worry about what they are. They're numbers that can only be divided by themselves in the number 1. Okay, fine. They're the prime numbers, and they're actually very important. In fact, a lot of our data encryption is based on prime numbers. And the reason is because there's still like a lot not known about them, like their distribution, like how they're spaced out among the integers. That's still not known. This is actually something called the Riemann hypothesis, which I won't talk about now, but maybe I might talk about in a future podcast. So the point is there's these prime numbers, which are very mysterious even to this day. People don't know really about the distribution of these things. It's very eluding. But at the age of 15, Gauss was the first to find some sort of pattern in the distribution of the prime numbers. And so that's pretty amazing, actually. So anyway, that's just kind of my, I think, interesting tidbit on history of math, and a shout out to the great mathematician Carl Friedrich Gauss.
Carl Friedrich Gauss. Now, I'm guessing he was German.
He was German. Very good. Yes. So what do you think about that interesting tidbit of history?
Well, that's amazing, because some people just can see numbers.
Yeah.
They just know what is and what isn't. And I knew a guy, I still know him, but he was in school, would argue with the teachers, especially the math teachers, because they would say, show your work. And he was like, why? The answer is this. And they would say, well, you have to show your work. You have to show me how you got the answer. And he said, I got the answer in my head. I saw the numbers. I knew what the answer was. That's how I got the answer.
I got the answer. I just showed you my work.
Pretty much. And so the teachers would always throw things at him. And he would stand there and look at them like they were idiots and then give them the answer.
This is someone you still know.
It is. He never used it for good. He didn't use it for evil either, but that was the only thing that he was really good at, that and fixing cars.
This Gauss character, he was the same thing in that he could just look at problems from a totally different perspective than most people, like the whole thing I said about noticing the 50 pairs of numbers. Well, when you add numbers up, you don't think from that perspective at all. So it's amazing how there's people out there that can just, their minds work such that they can just view things from a totally different perspective, and it's mind-blowing and really awesome.
I am not that way in any way, shape, or form. I do have some knowledge about technology and things like that, and I can and organization, and I can keep you on a schedule.
Which is that's a very difficult task. So that's definitely a pretty nice skill you got going on there.
Yeah, it's come in handy on several occasions to make sure that you are where you need to be when you need to be there.
It's not only come in handy, but it's come in pausey too.
Pausey, yes, indeed it has.
And sometimes you've had to take advantage of that to make me stay still, to make me pause. That was a very bad pun that I just did.
It was a very bad pun. So I was wondering if you have now you have bad puns. Do you have any bad dad type jokes?
So people say dad jokes, and I think I have an idea what they are, but if I had some, I don't know if they'd be classified as that. But for example, I know you know the answer to this, but for our one listener, don't give it away. What is the difference between unlawful and illegal?
Why, I don't know, Taebyn. What is the difference between unlawful and illegal?
Well, I'll tell you. I'm glad you asked. Unlawful is when you do something against the law. It's the law. It's wrong. Long. It might be long too. It's wrong. Just don't do it. Illegal is a sick bird.
I got one for you. Here, how's this one? I actually saw this on a meme today, so I'm going to say it. A priest, a rabbit, and a minister go into a bar, and the rabbit says, "I think I'm a spelling error."
Oh, snap. I got it. So to help our one listener out and to make sure I got it right, because rabbi instead of rabbit.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I felt I must
Explain.
explain. So you can edit that out if you feel you need to.
Oh, no, we'll leave that in because,
And for all the math people out there, so our one listener will not get this most likely because he's probably not a math person, but why did the mathematician name his dog Koshi?
I don't know.
Because he left a residue at every pole.
Okay.
And so if you're a math person, you'll totally get that. If not, then just
clearly you must
Taebyn,
look
you're
up
crazy.
Taebyn,
Yeah.
you are crazy. You're gonna have to look up Koshi and poles and all sorts of stuff. So it's an educational.
We're being a very educational joke right there. Yes.
Educational joke. It's educational pod, and it's turning into bad dad joke pod. So we should probably steer away from that at this point and move on to something else. Some changes or some additions to the podcast is that we have a couple of new websites that we're going to be building.
Yes.
And we'll have one for the production company, which is Injured Nerves, and then we'll have one for the Furcast. So we'll have lots of Taebyn and Bearly things on there. Mostly Taebyn because Bearly spends all of his time taking all the pictures of Taebyn.
So there's a reason that.
So there's a lot more pictures of Taebyn than there ever is of Bearly.
But we did get a picture of us at FC this last year. We got a few.
Actually, we got 4.
We got 4. Wow.
4 which is 4. So, Mr. Mathematician or Pupster Mathematician, I have a little over 13,000 pictures of Taebyn, and 4 have me in it. So what's the ratio?
Well, that's 13,000 to 4. I don't know. That's like 3,250 more. So that's like a lot more. That's the ratio. It's a lot.
3,250 to 1. If I had those odds, I would not take them.
Unless you're on the winning end, of course.
Of course, because that'd be a lot of money. Or
a lot of fluff.
Or fluff or kibble. Yeah.
Or kibble.
So,
ooh, or bacon.
Bacon.
Can we make bacon?
Can we make bacon? Do it a sizzle cast?
Let's do a sizzle cast.
Sizzle cast. So, again, look for the websites coming up. It's going to take me some time to learn how to do that. Again, this is all a learning thing for you and I. And we're learning how to do this and moving forward. And if our one listener is feeling generous on the Buzzsprout site and on our Facebook. Oh, we have a Facebook too, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. We have a Facebook. Yeah. Again, Bearly Furcasting at Facebook. You can buy us a coffee. And that is a way for you to help donate to the site to help the costs incurred that we incur for putting this site together and for this podcast together. You don't have to. It's not a request. It's not a requirement to listen to our pod. Our pod is free for all or for the one. And if you so desire, you can buy us a coffee, and that would be awesome.
It would be very awesome. Help us support us in this. It would also help us support in the videos we produce.
Oh, yeah.
And all the hard work it turns out to be a lot of work for a bear and a pup to do things.
Well, yeah, it does turn out to be a lot of work. So speaking of the videos, how many videos do you have on YouTube right now?
Wow. Right now, about 109, it says.
Wow. 109 videos. Wow.
And some of them, of course, as you know, are little short, tiny things. Some are longer things. Some are things that barely before you started filming, I did some individual stuff. So there's a few of those little things up there. So there's really, if you think about it, all kinds of things, something for every fur. So shout out to watch my videos, I guess.
So there's a lot of videos, and then there's links to other videos, other furs videos, and there's links to other YouTube people there. So please go to Taebyn's YouTube channel, which is Taebyn Pup at YouTube.
At YouTube.
There you go.
That works.
Check out his stuff. I think I've started a thing.
This or that.
This or that. There's 4 ors. So the first one.
4 ors.
And you'll have to tell us why. And this may give us a segue into something else, but I think you'll know what when I say this. So the choices are French fries or tater tots.
Well, I would have to go with the tots. Oh my cow. I would have to go with the tots.
And why?
Well, they're just nice, fun, little crispy things. And it turns out there's different tots. There's different brands and varieties, and some are different than others. If you crisp them just right, so perfectly numb, they potate.
They potate.
So like
wow.
I talked about, yeah. So
okay.
it's important to do. See, that's coming back. And if they're perfectly crispy golden, they're just wonderful and tail wag.
What did you do with tots at some point? You did something with tater tots.
I did. I had them for dinner with crispy chicken one time.
Oh,
yeah.
And what did that result in?
That actually resulted in an award-winning video that we did.
Yes, it did. So you started out with a little song.
Yes, I did. So one night for dinner, I had some crispy chicken and tater tots. I very often kind of sing about my food, especially if I like it a lot.
Wow.
And so this particular dinner, my head was really numb and I really liked it. And when I was dumb, I'm always dumb, but when I was done, the song, it just came to me. It was just in my brain. I had to sing it. It's not like I sat down and wrote it down. It just came to me and it went crispy chicken, nummy, nummy, tot tots. So that happened. And then a video happened.
Yes.
And then a sequel to that happened. And that's the one that was shown at A&W last year at the film festival. And it won one of the awards.
Yes. So and that film,
that story.
That film was called Crispy Dreamin', and it's available on your website or on your YouTube as well, and along with the original dance and song.
The original Crispy Chicken is there, and the sequel. And when we do the next one, it'll be posted there too.
So, coffee or tea?
Coffee. There are some good teas out there, though, but the coffee I'm going to have to go with because when the coffee is in my puppy dish and I lap it up, all of a sudden I can chase my tail a lot faster and I feel a lot more confident in my catching abilities. Obviously, it hasn't totally worked out yet, but it's really given me great hope. So the coffee's really been doing good for me.
Okay. Toast or English muffins?
Ooh. What kind of toast?
Bread toast?
Bread toast. And I have a video about this, don't I?
Oh, you do? I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah. So shout out to I don't know if shout out's the word, but to the one listener, if you have trouble making toast, this magical thing, go to my YouTube and look at toast video. I hope it really helps you out. I've had a lot of furs tell me it's helped them out quite a bit. So please do that. But I don't know. I'm having to go actually with English muffin because I really like the English muffins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're nice and fluffy. When they're buttered, it's so good, and cinnamon on it. I think we talked last time about cinnamon toast. And
yes.
if you do the cinnamon toast thing with English muffin, that's really quite special.
Okay. And finally, and you may not know what this is, and if you don't, then I can explain what it is. Indica or sativa?
Say those again.
Indica or sativa?
I think I've heard these words before, and Indica is a symphonic metal band, I think, and sativa is a TV that you sit on. So I like the TV, but I don't like sitting on it because then I'm not watching it. And I like symphonic metal, so I'll have to go with the Indica.
Okay.
That's my top reasoning there.
That's your final answer?
That'll be my final answer.
Okay. I don't know that I want to tell you what it is. I'm going to let our listener make comments on to see if he can explain to you what those two things are.
Please do. I'm looking forward to, please explain to this pup what it is. Go to the website and I'll be happy to hear your explanation.
Awesome. That kind of brings us to the end of our our time together once again.
And our time has been amazing. It's been a great time talking to you, Bearly.
It's been a great talking to you, Taebyn, and it's been great that our one listener stuck with us for another episode. I'm very happy that he did, or she did.
Or they did. If you're still listening, one listener, then we're very happy that you are. So thank you very much. We give you big virtual hugs.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, if you let us know who you are, we'll say your name.
Because right now your name is the one listener.
Yes,
dun,
that's
dun, dun. Great if you actually had a name other than that attributed to it.
Right. So. Bearly Furcasting is an Injured Nerves studio production. All opinions expressed here are those of Taebyn and Bearly, and neither received any commercial compensation for their opinions. The Furcast is recorded and edited by me, Bearly Normal, aka Mike Began. Opening, interstitial, and closing music by Shane Ivers through silvermansound.com. Taebyn can be reached on social media at TaebynPup on YouTube and Twitter.